Good evening, everyone. Today we are having another live build session. As usual, let me tune the stream so that I can see what you will be commenting on the Facebook, actually on YouTube. It's already part 7 of our Tempest build. As you remember, that's a fresh new toolkit from Czech manufacturer Eduard. And okay, we should be now seeing what you are writing. I'm just going to switch the quality to the HD. I recommend you to do the same because it will bring you more details, and now it is even more important because we will be showing something really tiny and small, and it is necessary to be able to see all the details sharp. So that's why I just tune to the 720p and you'll see what I'm talking about. But it is quite easy to understand what we will be talking about today because as you can see we have the look set ended, we have also a look application manual, and I also got the magnifying glass today so that you can see the cockpit, you can see this dial in close up because I can't bring the phone closer to this cockpit, to this table, let's say plane. So that's why we will be using magnifying glass. So look set is a quite nice thing to have if you would like to upgrade your cockpit. And we will be having the separate build session for this set. As you can see now we have cockpit finished and ready to be installed into the aircraft model, but I can tell you several things about it. So first of all, about the cockpit, those side walls are really tricky stuff, and be careful with them because as you remember we have thin frames here, so it will be easy to break them just by pressing, slightly pressing on them, and you will have to press because here we have not that wide holes, let's say, and even though those top sections are going in easily and nicely, we have the problem with lower sections. So you have to push it really hard, and then you end up with Mia in order to, let's say, widen gaps or widen holes and prepare them for installation. By the way, don't worry about the rear wall because we will be closing the cockpit, and it won't be visible because we will have comment panel which will actually close whole cabin like this. Yeah, finally you made it. Hi. And as you can see, I haven't installed the frontal wall. I will do it a bit later because otherwise you won't be able to see what I've done. And also about seat belts. Seat belts are quite surprised. I can say straight that I did not use them. I did not try them before. I was just checking them as sets, but it's worth showing them closer. So I'm going just to bring this set here, and let's use the magnifying glass. So here you can see those seat belts. I hope you can see them sharp. Maybe not, maybe yes. So those are really perfect parts if you would like to detail your aircraft without any extra hassle. Why? Because now here you can see from the top. So let's put it down. Now, why? Because it is those parts are thinner than typical PE thread which we get in Profit Pack, and I can show it once again. I showed it in the build session for the look set, but you can notice the difference between those materials. This actually reminds of the tinfoil, but it is not a tinfoil, even though it is as shiny as tinfoil. So it's easy to bend how where it should be. So jumping parts back and forth, and that's really cool. So here you can see what we have as a result. Now, next thing to remember is that we have those really hard glued points, and here you can see I separated the resin dashboard, and note what we have on the other side. We have piece of paper stayed or stuck to this resin base. So we really had to tear it off in order to have resin base separate. So that's quite important part. Be sure not to damage this stuff, because it's easy to bend it when you will be trying to take it off the bacon cardboard, and then you'll end up with bent seat belts. It's not like important that this paper will be damaged, it's important that you might damage the seat belts, and then you have to fix it somehow. Now we can move on to the dashboard. Dashboard is using the standard 2 attachment points, 2 attachment pins, so be sure not to sew them off. I accidentally sewed off one of the attachment points. Here you can see the dashboard. Let's try to do it like this. Actually, we need white, so like this. Now you should be able to see it. Just let me tune the white. Okay. And now we bring magnifying glass. Okay, so here you can see it. So really nice dashboard. I absolutely like it. Even though we don't have the glass replication on those dials, still it's really cool looking stuff. And by the way, note those, take a look at those small PE handles. They're really tiny. Don't forget that we are using magnifying glass, otherwise they are looking like this. So here it is. Quite tiny stuff. Be careful with it, because it's quite easy to lose any of those parts, like literally any, and then you will end up with searching for some replacements. Some parts are given in double sets. For example, as far as I remember, here we have on this PE thread we have those handles as a doubles, those handles as doubles, so you get some spare parts, but do not rely on it, because it won't save you from ugly look if you lose the part. So as you can see, we have the dashboard left, we have also seat belts left, because we used the look set. And another thing which I wanted to mention is this panel. As you can see here, it should be installed right before the dashboard. So keep it in mind, it is quite tricky stuff. What I did, I installed all the PE handles before, because otherwise it will be completely difficult thing to do. As you can see, it's really cramped in there. So just prepare all the tiny stuff before closing the cockpit. Otherwise, you will be having a really difficult time trying to get everything aligned in the right way. So that's the cockpit. Let's put it aside. And just so that you understand the size of it, I'm going to bring this tiny jar of paint from the Mr. Hobby or Hobby Color, and you can see that it's really small. Even though this is a 1/48 scale, it's quite tiny. So take your time with it, do not hurry, and you will have a nice result. So now we put everything aside. I leave this sticker, of course. I remove this look cardboard, and we bring up those fuselage halves. So as you can see, I pre-painted them in black and gray. And now we are going to separate one of the fuselage halves. I think it will be this one, because we already installed the tail wheel wells area. So now we are going to sew it off. Just give me a second. Sorry. Just do not hurry with this stuff, because here you can easily damage the outer surface of the fuselage, and then you have to fix it somehow, and that's not that cool thing to do. So just really slow movements back and forth and separate it. Now we go on with nose section, just like this. By the way, today it's snowing, surprisingly. So I'm not sure what it will bring us, but right now it is snowing. Here we separate another fuselage half. Actually, I don't know why I'm using the soft sole side because still we will clean these parts, but here in the tail area I have to use it because otherwise I will damage this, let's say. Okay, and one last point, it's here. This one I'm going to use the rough saw in order to have parts separated as soon as possible. So now it's done. And note, by the way, that this angle on the tail segment, it will serve as a guiding element. Quite interesting design solution. But we have this fuselage half, and now I'm going just to show you the dry fitment of these parts together of the cockpit and of the fuselage half. So we are going to turn the cockpit over. Don't worry about the rear wall painting because it won't be visible on the final version once you close the cockpit. So where do we install the cockpit parts? One pin goes here, cockpit 4 goes here, and it should be something like this. So here you can see what we get once we install parts in place. I can also see that there is one placement point for the wall, as far as I can understand, for the front wall. But here you can see what we will have once we glue this cockpit assembly into the cockpit, into the fuselage. Quite interesting result in my opinion. It's a really good looking cockpit, but it requires due attention due to thin parts. So be sure to take your time with this, as I said before. So that's all for this live session. As you can see, it is quite short, but what I'm going to do next, I will be installing the frontal wall here. Actually, let's do it together so that we will see how it fits into the place, and then we will see the final version of the cockpit. So here is this frontal wall. I'm going to saw it off. Okay, one. And second attachment point. Done. Now I'm going to clean it off a bit because we have a tiny bit of plastic left there. And here. Okay, done. This part, this section should be inside the cockpit. So we install it like this. And now we should align all the pins in order to go inside this part. And that's not that funny or easy part to do. Why? Because as you can see, all the holes are going inside, but this one is thicker. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply thin glue from this side, extra thin glue by the way, and it will widen up a bit or soften the plastic and also widen up the hole, and then we'll be able to push a bit in order to get the right fitment of this part. Then we also press a bit in the lower area, but it seems like everything is in place. Let's just press a bit more. Okay. So we applied small dot glue here, there, here, here, and here. Okay. Now it's fixed in place. Now it won't jump back and forth. So here you can see the final appearance of the cockpit. Just let me blow off the dust. Or maybe that's not the dust. Let's do it with a brush. No, that was a dust. Small dust speck which just bothers me when it's visible on the model. So here we have this cockpit part, and now let's try to fit it with a frontal wall. So we do again repeat the same sequence which we just did in a second ago. We have special pins, position pins, which actually help you with proper alignment of these parts. So don't forget to use them. And here you can see cockpit in place. Nice looking result. Let's bring the magnifying glass so that you understand what I'm talking about. Here it is. I really like what we have so far, and I hope it will be even better once we finish the fuselage joining procedure. So that's all for today. As you see, we have one fuselage half separated, and we'll have more in upcoming series. What I'm going to do, as far as you remember, we also have the air intake. So air intake should be glued here into this curved area. But first, or maybe, no, first I will prime it, or maybe I'll install it and then I will prime it. I will decide on it tomorrow. For today, that's all. I hope you enjoyed this live session. Stay tuned also for the build review of the look set. It will be online quite soon. And of course, I would like to thank you for joining. Don't forget that you can help us by pressing the donate button on our website. And I will see you in the next live session as usual. Press the like if you like this video.